All right, well, the orchard is definitely blooming. As you can see, we do have some apples here, like this Hudson's Golden Gem I've got on my Franken tree here that aren't quite open, but for the most part, a lot of these things are. And we're looking to get down to about 28 degrees here tomorrow night and the next night after. So hoping to figure out something to do for protection there, but it's going to be rainy all day tomorrow. And then in the evening, that rain will then transition to snow, but then it's gonna stop. If that stops and all that ice forms and it's completely solid ice, then the tree might start to warm those up. So hopefully I can figure out how to spray some of these trees with some water past that point in the evening, and hopefully prevent it from ever getting to the point where it wants to thaw that ice out, and we can wait till the next morning for the sun to come out, for the ambient temperature to rise, and then hopefully thaw that out for me. But we'll talk about that later. For now, I just want to show you more about how these blooms are doing out here to also help get a good gauge for what makes it through this. Let's take a look at everything we've got. So as I mentioned, Hudson's Golden Gem here is earlier on in that blooming stage, but could definitely see some damage, especially on the king bloom there and a few of the side ones. But ones down here might do a little bit better. Ashmead's kernel just bloomed, just started opening up, might be in about as much danger as the fully opened ones. But some of the Westfield here are a little bit earlier on, so it's one of those where we might see some damage to some of the blooms and others might make it through. And my November peach here just opened up today, I believe, because this was not open last night. The Gravin is certainly quite open with its blooms, but there are some in here that are earlier on in the stages, so we may see some of the later crop on here come out. And this is a tree that tends to have them ripen for several weeks. They're not all ready at the same time, so that could be to our advantage here as far as the blooms are concerned as well. Liberty has a few branches in here with the pink, but mostly these are open as well. And about the same status on the McFree over here. Nectarines are definitely in their last stage of bloom. Very few nectarines are just now opening. Most every single one has finished. And even the blossoms are falling off already. So they're already getting into the fruit setting stage. Pears are starting to grow there a little bit, where they're going to be putting on that fruit. So very late in the game for these different Asian pears and even the European pears. Petals have already dropped from most of these. Peaches seem to be just slightly past the nectarines and timing, but definitely don't think that they're gonna get away without a lot of damage here as well. There's just a few in here in the earlier stages of bloom that maybe will get through the cold tomorrow night, but I don't think it's terribly likely. Our Tart Cherry just finally started putting out blooms. Looking at a really nice crop here, if it can survive. So I'm really hoping that it does. But some of those aren't fully open, so they'll have a little bit better tolerance. The sweet cherries are all nearly done. There are still blooms on there though. I'm sure we would have needed the thin plums anyway, but hopefully we'll still have a few that make it. Even our pawpaws have opened up their blooms. I don't know if these will have some damage. They didn't seem to get much damage last year though, so we'll just have to wait and see how they turn out. I'm not as worried about the blueberries. They seem pretty hardy. The temperatures predicted at least shouldn't hurt these at this stage, but we'll have to wait and find out just how well they pull through. I still have a lot to learn about growing grapes, but these are waking up as well. So we'll have to wait and see. One thing I did read, at least, is that unpruned, these can survive cold temperatures a little bit better. They wake up a little later. So, you know, hopefully my negligence here pays off. So certainly a little nerve-wracking seeing just how far along everything is and not knowing where we're going to land on our fruit production. But hopefully I can give you a pretty positive update here in a few weeks, showing a lot of fruit growth and development that will be out here, and we'll see what makes it.